Many thanks for choosing us. We start from Parliament, where many are awaiting for a discussion to bring closure to the contention on the 2022 budget. The minority has been making some demands, including the removal of the e-levy from the 2022 budget before it is approved. It shut it down on Friday, but the majority says it's been unconstitutionally rejected. We're waiting that debate to ensue in Parliament this afternoon. My colleague Parker Wilson is monitoring events for us. He joins us live from Parliament. Parker, what's happening in Parliament right now?
Aisha, so proceedings is yet to begin. In fact, we are told that just about 15 minutes, the Speaker will enter the chamber and the proceedings for today will commence. I see a number of the NPP MPs and NDC MPs walking into the chamber. Now, Aisha, let me tell you that since morning, there has been a closed-door meeting between the minority members and the majority members. In fact, it was a joint caucus meeting. It was pruned down to the leadership of the meeting. So as I speak to you, the leadership have concluded their meeting. I have seen the majority chief whip of the NPP, Frank Anadompre, in the chamber, an indication that the meeting has ended. But as to whether the meeting, there was a consensus or an agreement, well, that is yet to be established, because we do understand, and from my source within the meeting, is that there seems to be a stalemate. There's no headway going forward, because the NDC is still insisting that the e-levy should be taken out of the budget. And the NPP says they are in government, they have a policy, they know they have a way of governing the country, and as part of the ways to govern the country, the e-levy is a critical factor in raising revenue going forward. And so they are not going to abolish the e-levy. That has been a major controversy in the meeting, and we are told that that has forced the leadership of the both caucuses to come to an end with this meeting, and then, of course, move to the chamber where they will now face off. And I must tell you that the NPP is still clear in their minds that the budget hasn't been rejected, whilst the NDC believes the budget has been rejected. I have with me the Member of Parliament for Techiman South constituency, Martin Ejemi Sakosa. He wasn't in the meeting though, but of course he is a minister, and as the budget delays, it's going to affect his ministry because he's the Deputy Minister for Local Government. Sir, thank you very much for your time this afternoon, and you're live on pause on JoyNews. Now,
thanks for having me.
I am a bit curious. Since last Friday, there's been a number of commentary over the rejection of the budget. You are going into the chamber. Proceedings is just about to start about 10-15 minutes away from now. What are your expectations going into the chamber? Because I hear the meeting between the leadership perhaps did not really achieve the needed results.
Well, you are using the word rejected, and I don't know how you come to that conclusion. Of course, the majority side is advanced the argument that makes that an impossibility. The Constitution prescribes a formula in arriving at a single majority in the House. And so, based on that argument, we do not believe that the budget has been rejected. It's a purported action that, per our calculation and understanding, in the face of the law, cannot stand. And so that, for me, is yet another matter that will be determined. But yes, you rightly echoed my position or my thoughts. We believe that the matter is not concluded. The finance minister had sought leave of the House on Friday to engage. After the debates, various views and opinions came up. And in enriching the document, you need broader consensus. You need to pick on the ideas of everybody. We, in principle, as a majority, still stand by that the ideas that have been expressed, provided they are good and would enhance or enrich the document, must be brought on board. That is the spirit and principle that is guiding the discussions that are going on today. And that to tell you that the matter cannot have been concluded by way of either a rejection or what have you.
And that position has been being resisted by
that's the view.
But which is making the entire meeting not achieve.
I'm saying that whatever action that has happened on the floor, there is a legal position on that. And so whatever the law says or what the legal position should be, we very much will go to that pretty soon. But we believe that the matter is yet to be concluded, and we are still guided by that spirit of bringing everybody on board. And that is why there's been some engagement going on today. The positions that have been reached out of those meetings, I'm not able to provide that. Leadership will apprise us of those decisions. But of course, we do know that there's an opportunity today for us to approve the budget. Continue off from where...
Opportunity for you to approve the budget?
For the House, Parliament, to approve this budget, which couldn't be done last week Friday because of the obvious issues. And so let's see how it happens in there. But I believe by the close of today, we should have our way clear on the way we proceed.
So I just want to be clear in my mind. So the NPP is walking into the chamber with the position that they are going to reverse the Speaker's ruling, affirming the rejection of the budget last Friday.
Let's get there and see what happens. The position of the majority is that it has not been rejected. And so when we get there, the law will be put to test, and then we'll see when the various arguments have been advanced, we'll see the way to go with this matter.
Well, those who have said that, why don't you accept the views of the NDC, amend the budget, submit it to the House for approval, because you need the country to govern.
You would realize that the finance minister's request in wanting to engage is exactly what you are echoing. If anybody says that there's a need to pick on the concerns of the minority, that is in order. We agree to that. And that is the very reason why the finance minister has sought to engage and pick the views on both sides. So we are not against picking or agreeing or come to some consensus with the various sides. No. And the finance minister indicated that. That is the process that is continuing today. And so let's see how it unfolds.
But in your view, if there is anything that you need to take away from the budget, what would it be? Because the NDC is clear. Ejapa is a no. E-levy is a no. You have to make provision for the construction of the Qatar Sea Defense Project. In your view, I mean, as
I do know when they met, some deliberations is reached some conclusions. I'm unable to put that here because I'm not part of leadership and I do not sit in those meetings. But clearly, there's been some understanding at some areas. But I'm saying that that process is what is going to continue. After the debates on where we've not been able to reach a consensus, we find the fine lines, and then we can proceed from there.
I've heard the NDC say that there's going to be fireworks today in the chamber. And some of your colleagues,
Parliament,
and some of your colleagues too as well. I mean, Katie Hammond said action will be in the chamber today.
Well, I'm not privy to that. But
well, I spoke to him live on
Parliament,
TV.
We talk law. We don't do fire. And so I'll be surprised anybody talks of fireworks. We're going to talk law. We'll battle it out legally, and then we'll see where the chips fall. I'm not sure that it's going to be anything out of this scenario. And so let's see. Let's keep our calm. I believe that at the end of the day, you see, it's important, Parker, that we don't stampede the progress of this country. Government has a clear mandate and a direction of governance. Government is very clear about what it wants to achieve for this country. And it's important that its program is made to move, to achieve for this country what we need. What is happening may seem to suggest that there's an attempt to derail our development and progress. And that is not what anybody will want to be tagged with. At the end of the day, if anybody has any ideas on what they think governance should be, when you get the opportunity, you can come and push that. But for now, this is an NPP program, NPP government. And they are clear in their mind the direction of governance, where things must go, how to achieve results for this country under their mandate. And it's up to the good people of Ghana to judge for us where the results falls. So let's resist this attempt to want to, as it were, push what we think is our program onto the NPP through such means. It does not help.
Is that what you see being done?
Well, that for me seems to be, because to take a hard stance and say, until I get this, that will not happen. Mind you, it is not your government. It is not your program. That is somebody's program. You need to be able to consider...
The program in itself affects the majority of the people.
But I'm saying that somebody has the mandate to govern. The 4 years is for us to do and show the good people of this country what the results are. They will be the ultimate judges at the end of the day. That does not also mean that government would be impervious to reason, would not take on consensus or the views of others in enriching whatever document that we have to. But for one side to take a position and say, no, I disagree with government and mine has to stand, becomes problematic.
I know the bell has been rung, so just a quick minute and then I'll let you go. Finally, you say you want to approve the budget. Today, the argument has been the NPP, do you have sufficient numbers to approve what you say, the budget?
The NPP is the majority side.
Do you have the sufficient
exercises?
numbers? Last Friday, you didn't have the numbers. I can tell.
No, why do you say that?
The member of parliament for Kwabenya constituency was not in the chamber. I can report saying.
Not everybody was in the chamber. The matter had not been put to vote. When voting is about to happen, members come. People remain in their offices for good reasons. People go to the washrooms. People do all kinds of activities around here. The fact that you do a count and Martin is not sitting in his seat, does not mean that I'm not within the precincts of Parliament. Once I'm recorded and the invitations come, we all gather. As far as I'm concerned, last Friday, everybody was set. There was an issue where the finance minister, whose program or budget was being debated upon, was asked to leave. And there was another person whose presence the majority thought was also not proper. That led to a situation we could not conclude matters, much as it was. But I don't think that anybody can firm up and say the NPP didn't have the numbers or the majority didn't have.
So today you have the numbers?
We've always had the numbers. When it has to come to doing business in the house with such nature, we've always had the numbers. Just as Friday, so it is today. And I believe that we'll be able to do what has to be done for Mother Ghana.
Thank you very much. Martin Sakosa is the Member of Parliament for Techiman South constituency and, of course, the Deputy Local Government Minister. Aisha, you heard the bell being rung. The bell has been rung. What it means is that they are calling on MPs to come to the chamber so that Parliament can kickstart proceedings of the day. It appears that the NPP is still going into today's sitting with the mindset and the mentality that what happened last week, Friday, was unconstitutional, and then they are determining their quest to reverse the Speaker's decision. Well, the NDC has served notice that that will not happen. Well, we await the outcome of the decision and the consensus that we are told that is being built amongst these MPs. Until then, we cannot say for a fact whether the 2022 budget has been rejected or is not rejected. But what stands at the moment is that the NPP, of course, I see the members of parliament from the NPP going into the chamber now. Farouk Ali Mahama just entering the chamber together with about 6 other NPP MPs. So very soon, parliament will kickstart, and then the big conversation for the day, that is the budget, will be tabled before the House for consideration. We'll get to know whether it's been rejected or it would be approved, Aisha.
Earlier, we're told that the finance minister had a meeting with the minority leadership. What was the outcome of that meeting? Do you know?
Well, so the meeting, Aisha, we are told that there was a bit of misunderstanding. There was no headway because the two parties had taken an entrenched position. Some of the demands from the NDC were told that the government was willing to concede, and that they agreed that, of course, they're going to review it. But the biggest challenge for the NDC is the electronic levy, that is the Momo tax. And that, we are learning that government doesn't want to budge. Government does not want to look at the electronic levy, expunge it from the 2022 budget. And that has been the point of disagreement. That has been the point of misunderstanding between the two caucus. And so, it triggered some level of, well, if you don't want to understand, let's call off the meeting. Let's move the conversation to the chamber where Ghanaians will know our position from the NPP and the NDC. So with the meeting, we cannot say for a fact whether indeed the consensus that they were expecting was built. But right now we know that there was some level of disagreement just because of the introduction of the electronic levy, which is the e-Momo, and of course the NDC wanted it taken out of the budget, but the NPP insists that it has to be in the budget because it is part of their revenue mobilization measures to show up revenue and also to accelerate and facilitate the various developmental projects that the government wants to execute for the year 2020. So in the chamber, we'll get to know the position, the clear position of the NPP and the NDC as well. I've seen the Honorable Member of Parliament for Ofonsi Ahirebi, Kojo Pankoma, who is also the information minister. Of course, he's getting his way into the chamber very soon, and Parliament would kickstart. So, Aisha, let's hold our horses for now. We will bring to our viewers all the updates when Parliament kickstart the proceedings for today. I must say that proceedings for the day was advertised at 10 a.m. As we speak, it's just about over 3 something. And yet, Parliament is just to kickstart with the proceedings for today. So this is the information we are picking up, and the position is clear.
Parker, before now, there's been the conversation about whether we would be having the full complement of the House for this debate. Who will be chairing, whether the Deputy First Speaker would be having a vote or not. But how is it looking like for both sides? In the event of a head count vote, are we going to have the full complement of the House? Of course, we know the Speaker is out of town.
Right, Asha, so the standing orders is very clear on if a member of Parliament is chairing. Whoever chairs the meeting is obviously does not have a vote. And it's clear in the standing orders that the Speaker of Parliament doesn't have a vote. And so well, I was trying to get Honorable Kojo Pankoma, but then he's declined to that. So Aisha, let me move on. So if you're a member of Parliament, you do not have a voting right when a decision has to be taken in Parliament. And so now that we know that the substantive Speaker, who is Alban Barbin, is out of the jurisdiction, the standing order says the available Speaker. So if the available Speaker are the 2 deputies, that is the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament and the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, in order of seniority, automatically the seat falls on the lap of the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, who is Jose Usu. So by extension, he will be the one to chair to this meeting. And so if he indeed does chair to this meeting, what it means is that Mr. Jose Usu would not have a voting right in taking a decision. And that prunes or cuts down the numerical strength of the NPP in Parliament. Well, the NPP, I must say, have engaged the MPs, and they strongly disagree with that. They have said that when the time comes for a decision to be made and for the MPs to vote, we will see what happens. I don't know what is going to happen. I don't know why they are saying that, but they are firm in their minds that they have the numbers. They are still 138, and if they should subject any motion to a vote, the NPP caucus will emerge victor of that particular motion. So they are very confident that going into this meeting today, they will have the numbers to push through with the agenda and for the reversal of the Speaker's position and subsequently the approval of the 2022 budget.
Parker Wilson, who is in Parliament monitoring events for us. As you may hear, there's the bell ringing and calling MPs to come to the chamber for business of the House. This is something we are monitoring for you. You need to stick and stay on the JoyNews channel because we have all the sights and sounds for you as it unfolds in Parliament.